Welcome back to your favorite podcast, A Couple Pints Pod.
Frick yeah.
Um, I know last episode we dropped, Colin and I were like, we're back. We're never going to miss another fucking week ever again. But then the week after that, we both had the stomach bug, could not record. And then the week after that was the Super Bowl. And now we are here and we're back, baby. And
That would have been a dicey episode if we recorded.
bruh, I couldn't fucking move. Like
Also, but
every
who?
every 5 minutes I would get up and Olivia's like gonna throw up again. I was like, yep. And
Yeah.
I didn't even have anything. I stopped drinking water. I stopped eating for like 3 days.
Oh,
It was
dude.
rough, dude.
Also, but for the people who watch this, do you think they actually believed us? I don't think they did. I think they heard that and were like, "Oh, well, oh,
Oh,
hold on a second there, brother."
you wanna shout out the big news and then we'll get started?
Oh, yeah, let's give them the well-deserved thanks.
Hell yeah.
Where,
Hell yeah, brother.
oh, hell yeah, brother. This is a quick shout out to Thailand. Thank you to all the listeners in Thailand for making us the 42nd ranked comedy interview podcast.
Comedy.
Thank you so much. We love you all.
Thanks,
Thank,
Thailand.
thanks for jumping on the good times, good feelings train of
This one's for you,
cheers.
Thailand.
Wide.
Mm. All right, so in the weeks we were off, some crazy shit's been happening. We're gonna talk about all of it.
The world's been popping off.
Let's start. Do you want to? I'm just gonna start.
Do it.
So if you haven't heard, all Taiwanese slash the two Americans that actually listen to this, there have been multiple UFOs spotted over the US. Now, they're not actually UFOs. I don't know why everyone's saying they're UFOs because they're fucking balloons. And since all the news broke, everyone fucking knows about this at this point. China actually has claimed them. So there were Chinese balloons with all this hardware on them. And now I want to start with this and get your take on it because I didn't send you this.
Ooh, okay.
So everyone's like, what the fuck? They're spying on us with balloons, like blah 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 blah, blah, you know? So this is from a thread I was reading on Reddit about a news article about the balloons. And Sakana to Dyubsu says the UFO thing isn't really that unusual. Basically, everyone is doing penetration testing, which is all about estimating the strength and competency of an enemy's air force. Normally, when the U.S. does penetration testing, we send nuclear-armed B-52 bomber planes into Russian or Chinese airspace to elicit and intercept response.
Those will explore your tummy.
When the Russian or Chinese fighter aircraft show up to turn them away, the pilots and the bombers note the response time, aircraft type, and any identifying marks to estimate which units are in a given area. Russia does the same thing, whereas China doesn't really have long-range bomber aircraft to pull that off. Sending drones or balloons is a low-cost way to do lots of the same testing that sending military aircraft does, but it has its drawbacks considering it doesn't require an immediate response.
Okay.
So, if China was actually doing that, that's slightly concerning. I mean, it's not like crazy concerning because, as that said, they don't have like long range bomber aircraft. But
But at
it's China, so who knows what the fuck they have?
I'm not buying that they lost track of that balloon and
No,
no one picked it up over when it got to the most fortified airspace. Because didn't they say it traveled through Antarctica? I can't remember
no,
which way they said it traveled,
it would
but
be the Arctic. It went like
and that is one of the most
if
fortified
if
treaty
this is the globe,
airspaces.
if this is the globe and China's here, and if I can find the picture, I saw a great picture of this. If I can find it, it'll be up here. If this is a globe, China's here, we're here. It went like that. So it didn't go like over the Pacific. It went, yeah, like you're saying, above the
And
Arctic and
you're
then
telling
over
me,
Canada, which Trudeau immediately was like, here's what we know. Sorry. Sorry. And then
oh, hey, buds.
I think the first spotting in America was Montana, I think. And then it floated over the whole country and they like shot it down over like fucking the Atlantic or some shit.
This smells like a lot of bullshit.
Well, what do you think the bullshit is? Because there's no reason that all of a sudden, because like you were saying before we hit record, um, this
Mhm.
shit's been happening for like 50 years or something. What, like there's documentation of this happening before, like these high altitude balloons covered in like what looks like satellites.
Yeah.
That also in that video I sent you, not gonna link it because it's 10 minutes long. Well, maybe I'll link it in the description if you want to watch it, but not gonna put it here. Um, that guy was saying that that CIA guy was saying fucking what was he saying? Oh yeah, they're flying at like cruising altitude for commercial airliners, which is more of a threat than just like being spied on.
Mm-hmm.
That's way sketchier than fucking just like balloons looking at stuff. And another
Yeah.
theory was they use balloons because you can capture more data because they move slower.
It's- I, I I'm all well and good with, yes, this was 10,000% one of those balloons that had satellite technology so it could capture pictures of everything that it was going over. I don't buy for a second that China lost track of it and it accidentally went over Antarctica or through the Arctic Circle over to America.
Well, yeah, Antarctica's the south,
Because,
so it went over the North Pole.
like we've said 1,000 times on this podcast, the Antarctic Treaty, so
Again, Antarctica's
many.
you're on the wrong side of the globe. We're up here. You're down
But
here.
either way, if we have a treaty on one of our poles, we obviously have something 10,000%. We have surveillance going on at the other pole. And no one's gonna record, no one's gonna say, oh hey guys, your balloon is off track. You might want to pick that up before it travels out
Before
of
it gets
your
into
airspace.
US airspace.
Like you guys can reroute that, right? It would have
I
been
mean,
rerouted. But no,
well,
it just kept going.
to be
And everyone
fair,
was like, we'll wait.
it is a balloon. Like I don't know how they would reroute it. But also, how would they route it here? That's interesting. We should have looked into that before we started. I don't feel like Googling it right now.
Unless it is literally just controlled by the wind stream. And there it's on a hope and a prayer that it follows
Yeah,
the path they
like
want.
a loose prediction of where it's gonna go.
Because accidents happen.
Also, if you don't know what it looks like, we'll put a picture here or something.
Accidents happen. And if that's the case and they're coming out and they're like, hey, everyone, that's our bad.
But also,
Uh,
there's theories saying that China, since we blame them, is doing like a Taliban type thing, just like, yeah, it was us just to fuck with like American citizens that don't know the story. And that's the whole issue with the whole balloon thing is like fucking Biden came out and was like, yeah, we shot it down, threat compromised. And then a couple days later, China was like, oh, yeah, it was us.
oh, you know what just popped back into my head? I saw a video of someone from the flat earth community trying to make the argument that that spy balloon from China is an actual satellite that we launch into space because their confirmed belief is that all satellites that we have put in this orbit around our planet or sent out into space
Yeah,
have not been launched by a rocket. They're just on a balloon.
that's so dumb.
So there's another argument, bro.
Well, a lot of shit uses balloons, but that's fucking stupid. Like when I was in Puerto Rico, I don't know Puerto Rico. I don't know if I told you about this. We were on this like bioluminescent tour, and before it got dark, this guy, like our captain, dope ass dude, took us out to like this mangrove bay, and the sun was setting, so I got back up on the boat to take pictures. And as I'm taking pictures, I looked back at like the mainland because we were in the ocean just on like this huge sandbar. It was really sick. But there was this giant blimp, and
Ooh.
I was like, but it was grounded. And I was like, is that a like a building? Or because it was just white, like it looked like a marble building shaped like a blimp. And he was like, no, it's actually on a tether, and a few times a day like our DEA shoots it up and they look for like drug trafficking and shit with this giant balloon. Like they
Whoa,
send dudes up on it. So I mean, yeah, I guess somewhat
that's
underdeveloped
crazy.
areas could utilize balloons to do stuff, but the fact that China sent one across the world to like spy on Montana is absurd. There's no way that's what's going on.
No, but also, wasn't it going over one of our nuclear bases?
I don't know. I mean, it started over Montana and then literally floated all the way to the East Coast, and then they shot it down over like Lake Huron, I think.
I'm pretty sure everyone was starting to get freaked out and pissed off because it was going over one of our more secret-esque bases.
Well, that's just like all of middle America is just like fucking nuclear silos.
Yeah, and that's why people are like, they're coming for secrets. They
No,
they
the
want it.
balloons are making the silos gay.
Uh, uh,
Uh, but the reason we started on balloons is because we both believe, and I'm speaking for both of us here,
Do it.
that that whole news broke to cover up the literal multiple Chernobyl disasters happening around the country that no one wants to talk about because fucking a couple years ago when he who shall not be named was in office, the railroad unions were like, we need safer conditions or really bad shit's gonna happen. And then he who
Not
shall
gonna
not be
happen.
named is like, no, we have the best railroads.
Uh,
The
not happening.
we have better balloons than China.
I don't get it. I don't. We still use the rail system for
So
so
wait.
much.
Before we get on this tangent, because I think we both have a lot more to say about this than we do about balloons. We believe that the balloons breaking and being such a threat and such a scary thing, and I've read multiple articles about this too, is to distract us,
Yes.
like just the citizens of America, away from these literal nuclear disasters.
The huge,
Because
huge
like,
repercussions in the future.
look how long it took Chernobyl to get big until HBO made a show, right? And that's 30 something, maybe 40 years later. And I'm sure it was a big deal at the time, but like now that we can access fucking photos and videos of it immediately, yeah, everyone's seen a little bit, but no one really knows the repercussions here. And then it happened two more times on railroads, and then another time with a fucking semi truck in Arizona. Also, where the fuck is all this nuclear waste coming from?
That's another thing. This might be a stretch, but the spy balloons going over, and now the immediate removal or movement of extremely hazardous materials. And it just so happens these disasters coincide with us shooting down all of these mysterious objects in the sky. We could be, they could have been moving it to hide it or dispose of it or get rid of it because other countries were starting to catch on that, hey, wait a minute, there's a lot of nuclear stuff going to America. We should probably start seeing what they're doing. Now we scramble. What's the easiest, largest way that we can move tons of material secretly through the back country roads, through the forests that no one will ever see? Trains.
True.
And now because the rail systems are destroyed, they're having all of these derailments, and it's everything that they wanted to hide is literally exploding in their face. So they have to create mysterious object shot down by fighter jet. Mysterious object seen over X state, tracked and disappeared by
I know.
military radar.
Yeah, and for reference, we'll put a video of the Ohio rail system here. It's pretty fucking crazy how deformed this shit is, and we're like, yeah, just send a fucking 150 car train of nuclear waste through it.
Oh
That's
yeah,
like
no, that seems pretty safe.
that's like fucking
That seems pretty good.
reach of an analogy here, but that's like taking a fucking preschool field trip to an active minefield. Like what why it
Well, why don't you tell me the problem with that?
also the fact that they can round up all this waste, right, and put it on trains. How come when the trains tip over, the immediate response is let's light it on fire?
Burn it.
Can't you just
Burn it.
like recollect? I know obviously nothing
I'm
about how to collect nuclear waste, but can't you just like recollect it and put it like on some other mode of transportation to its destination instead of just fucking flicking a match into it
I
and
really
literally
wonder.
creating a nuclear disaster?
I don't think it's as simple as taking out a special design Suckarooski vacuum and putting it back into a jar. But I do feel like there is some way that they would be able to react and stop all of that.
Contain it somehow.
Yeah. I mean, put a literal glass dome over it or something. I mean, yeah, the Simpsons would then be right again because there'd be a glass dome over Ohio. But I mean, shit, do something.
Imagine that's the reason they burned it. They're like, we're not letting the Simpsons be right again.
This will not. We cannot give them another Emmy.
Bro, it's insane though. Like, even I saw a picture, we'll put it here, of a passenger plane flying over the town, and it looks like a fucking hurricane, but it's just this black mass of death, literally. And the option to burn it is even scarier because, like, back to the balloons, the winds are just gonna take that shit elsewhere. Like, I'm waiting for the fucking mayor of New York City to be like, yeah, no one go outside because
Hmm.
the cloud is here now.
That's real weird that the climate activists aren't taking this to the utmost extreme.
Well, I'm sure
Where
they
where
are.
are
We
they?
just didn't really look
Like
for it.
why are there
Well, that's
store
the other thing. Anyone who reports on the balloons is like a fucking national hero, and anyone that reports on these
there was
literal
a
nuclear
reporter who got
disasters are
arrested.
getting arrested.
Like what is this upside down that we're living in right now?
Dude, it's insane.
Why are like what is that also leads me right back to the point that they were trying to do some secret sketchy shit, completely backfired in their face, and now they can't let the news stream talk about this because as soon as they do, other countries are going to be able to pick it up. And now, if other countries pick it up and they see what huge, a huge natural disaster is about to happen from all of the repercussions, there would be a meeting by who's who would that be? The Paris Climate Accord. They because isn't that still a thing?
Wasn't it literally the WHO, the World Health Organization?
There probably would be a meeting with the WHO. There'd
I'm
probably
sure it'd be
be
a bunch
a
of different
world
fucking.
summit meeting from all the world leaders coming together, trying to figure out how they can stop this from getting caught by a jet stream coming down from Canada that sucks
Well,
everything out
it's
of
going to.
Ohio.
It's going to. It probably already did, and we're just not hearing about it. It's literally the plot of Chernobyl, bro. Chernobyl happened. The Russian government lied to the rest of the world because there wasn't internet. That and they were like, "Nah, we got it under control. It's fine."
I got it. I get it. Want to hit up a shit out ice cream.
That's also basically what's happening right now. It's like, "Oh yeah, we got it under control. It's fine." And that's all you hear about it. And then
I
anyone who reports on it is sent to jail.
tell
It's
you what,
insane.
Jack, my mental state is so good. I changed the tire down at the ice cream shop
I
while I
wouldn't
was
be
getting a
shocked.
haircut.
I don't know what this impression you're doing is. Is it
Oh,
Biden?
that's Joe
Yeah.
Biden.
I wouldn't be shocked if fucking when this comes out Friday if we vanish. So that's if we don't put an episode out. No, I'm kidding. We're not. Unless, Thailand
No, but
calls
if this
calls on
does
us.
get a strike, if this does get a strike on YouTube, then we will know for sure that the algorithm bots and all of the upper tier people who are on these checklists going through have a narrative
Yeah.
and are being paid to follow said narrative.
Also, I was reading an article about the response time of news stations, like using just civilian footage of it, like not sending reporters there. And some dude did like a deep dive um and linked all this stuff. I was reading it before we hit record. And the media outlets that are partially funded by these companies that own the railways reported on it like weeks later compared to like ABC and like local places that could just get the footage and put it out. Like PBS, Public Broadcasting Service, waited like a week and a half to say anything about it. And one of their biggest donors is some privatized railway that apparently had something to do with this.
I mean, how damning, how big of a grave are you trying to dig yourself? Good Lord.
And then like NPR, like immediately.
That, wow.
Bro, they're trying to cover it up and it's like you can't. We have the internet. You can't cover shit up. Just be like, we fucked up. Here's how we're gonna fix it. And fuck the balloons. No one
Like,
gives a fuck about the balloons.
no. Wow.
And then outside of that, I saw last week even more government officials being like, oh, there's other stuff. We shot down a cylindrical silver disc. It's like, no, you fucking didn't, bro. You derailed a train because you voted against making the railroad unions safe.
Oh, nothing means nothing.
No,
Nothing means nothing. Yeah.
it's true, dude. It's so sad.
Where the cream rises to the top. Oh, yeah.
It'd be
Balloons.
it'd be kind of sick if this
Yeah.
like nuclear waste cloud just slowly floated over DC to see
It's
then what the response is. If it just
it's
floated to DC and just stationed itself there and started raining fucking nuclear waste and acid and whatever the fuck's coming out of the sky and poisoned all their water sources and killed off all their livestock and food, then how would they respond?
instantaneous. Instantaneous.
But then what do? They created it. All you had to do was not light that shit on fire.
Oh, I mean, oh,
And given their whole explanation for lighting it on fire is like, well, it could have seeped into the wells. It's like, well, it did because now it's raining nuclear waste.
where do you think all the vapor from it is gonna go? Is it just gonna disappear?
Bro, it's insane.
Rick, it's almost as if the people in the positions to make these decisions are the type of characters who grew up in a world where they had no personal problems, they
No
had no
internet.
personal issues, no internet, they had no connection to anyone who didn't think like them, didn't act like them.
Well, that's what it is. It's all like fucking
They are
80
so
plus year old people. Like, oh, just
just sheltered.
put it in the sky, it'll
Oh,
disappear. Like, bruh, how do you think the fucking balloon got here?
you you remember what Bill Gates wanted to do when he wanted to put a cloud of dust up in the sky and block out the sun rays? Well, let's just do it with these chemicals.
Dude, I don't even
Let's
know what to
just
say.
send
It's
it up
insane.
there.
And the fact that I've been researching since we were sick 2 weeks ago when this happened, and all I can find is like, well, the balloons are probably a cover up. The railways said this would happen, then it happened. Then it happened 2 more times in Texas and in North Carolina, and then it happened again in Arizona. And yeah, our only option is to burn it and fuck everyone over.
This
That's all you can find.
dude, going
And
back to the point.
like I said, and like East Palestine, Ohio, my heart, I don't even know what to
We
say.
pray for you
Sorry.
people. On this podcast, we send all of our thoughts and prayers to all
Yeah,
of you.
I don't know. But what happens when it hits Manhattan? What happens when it hits DC? What happens when it hits Pittsburgh, like a major city? What happens when it hits Columbus, Ohio?
This is
Just
what
it's gonna be fucking.
they'll come out and
I
say.
love how you still can't say fucking COVID. Watch us get a strike for that.
This is the press conference.
It's gonna be
This
that
is
all
all
over
they're
again.
this is
Stay
all they're saying.
inside. Stay inside. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine.
Oops. Are bad.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all they're gonna say.
Oops, we made a silly. Look at the balloons though. Look at this stuff.
Sorry, America. We made an oopsie.
We shot down a weather balloon with a fucking $10,000 missile. Don't worry about the nuclear stuff though.
I
Aren't bombs and balloons cool?
I really think that those balloons were other countries trying to figure out why the hell we have so much nuclear waste. Us trying to move it secretly. They fucked up very hard. And instead of apologizing and coming out with the truth, they doubled down. Doubled down in the worst way possible.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Jeez. I mean, that's another thing. Why do we have to be worried about getting a strike or getting this episode taken down just because we're talking about the actual facts of the matter?
Also,
Like, these are the questions that no one's answering.
I don't even know what episode this is. I think it's 121, but like we're not even monetized. Who gives a fuck? Just let us publish it.
Yeah. Like, you can bury it. You have that power, you algorithm dictators.
Well,
You control what they see.
I think they already do that.
Sorry about it. Sorry, we're coming at you with the cold hard facts. Sorry about it.
More like the hot nuclear fucking facts.
Huh. All these chemicals are going to go into the water.
What's even crazier is like 2 months ago when Olivia and I went to see White Noise, and it's literally the premise of White Noise.
Whole premise. Except it's a train instead of a tractor trailer getting hit by a train.
Oh, true, yeah. After the movie, both of us on the way home were like, thank God that'll never happen.
American railway system, hold my beer.
Also, White Noise
That's what they said.
Filmed in or around where it actually happened. They filmed it, I heard, in Ohio somewhere. But that could just be hearsay. I don't know.
There's, when you get to a point where you're trying to think of things to say and you just can't form any sentence that will lead anywhere because it's just going to be filled with calling them ridiculous names.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to shift my brain back to the other possible avenues of these so-called mysterious objects that were shooting down out of the sky. Because
I'm just like overwhelmed with thought, because
on the slim chance that they're actually from another world,
they're
from
not.
another universe.
You think fucking look, all right.
Chance.
Back out of nuclear waste, back out of everything. Fuck your slim chance. If aliens came to Earth, they would do it with weather balloons and man-made satellite.
Maybe they're just another
That's
form
the
of
other
human.
thing the government's doing. Once people started to be like, fuck your balloons, what are you doing about polluting the atmosphere? The government's like, well, the metal we're recovering is not man-made. And it's like, have you seen this picture? I'll
No,
put the picture up here.
never seen it.
Bro, my biggest concern is just like what happens when this waste hits a wind stream, which has already happened. I've seen people post on Reddit and like even friends in
Yeah.
other states near Ohio who are like, yeah, dude, it's fucking raining nuclear waste over here. Yeah, so yeah,
Well,
whatever I was saying, that's my conclusion.
hot diggity dog. Talking to you about this stuff, talking with you about this stuff is so much fun, dude.
And it's also like my other kind of fear is, and it's almost like a early pandemic type fear is like what's going to happen next.
Oh, there's gonna be dominoes that fall
some
that we
fucking
don't
some
even
fucking
realize are there.
idiots gonna like sneeze and hit the fucking silo button and then we're gonna start World War III.
Well, I mean,
Like, where do we go from here?
technically speaking, World War III is already beginning.
What?
We're getting pretty involved, dude, which causes three countries to be in a war. And then if we enter, that's going to lead China to most likely enter, which is the start of World War III.
All they
So
have is
we're on the precipice of
all they
starting.
have is balloons. Fuck them.
I guarantee they have super soldiers over
Why
there.
do you why do you
They
think
have no rules.
why do you think Russia's losing? Because China's like, here's a balloon, and we're like, hey, here's fucking hey Ukraine, here's fucking 500,000 tanks. I don't know.
All I know is we are definitely on the precipice, and these distractions that they created turned out to be something they cannot control, and they are going to absolutely, like we've said 100 times in this episode, fuck us.
Yeah. I think basically the concluding point is we're all fucked. And a couple pint spot isn't going anywhere, trust me.
No, we're here to tell you.
Even if it's post apocalypse and we don't have internet or beer anymore, we're gonna brew our own beer and harvest parts of a Chinese satellite to make internet to broadcast to you, Taiwan.
That's right, because we love you that
But
much.
Yeah, I guess that's it. We're fucked.
Because they're amazing. Just like everyone else who listens to this podcast, remember, you are amazing. No matter what's going on in this world, no matter what's happening, keep in the front of your brain. Say it every morning when you wake up. I am amazing.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh, fuck you.
谢谢台湾。
That's beautiful.
That's for you. Hey.
谢谢台湾。
This has been
Couple Pints Pod.
It's safe to say.
I'm gonna go swim in a pool of nuclear waste, my babies.
And make sure you watch out for that
I'm gonna
alter pig.
I'm gonna coat myself in no pink and go fuck around in Ohio. That's
Well,
what
why
I'm gonna
don't you
do.
tell me where the null pink is going?
Probably on a train somewhere on shitty tracks.
Oh,
We're all fucked if
I-
no pink gets out. We are fucked. We are fucked.
Don't let the null pink get out.